guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, fredmccoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening.
Getting ready to do a video, and I just happened to just be thinking, I mean, there's one of, you know, as we do these videos, we may pinpoint different showcases or objects where you can, instead of just looking in the background trying to see, this is actually the bed. Come on up here. This is actually the bed that was featured on American Pickers. I think it was episode 6, season 6, episode 4, or season 4, episode 6. I forget which one it was.
Right, yeah.
But
I don't remember. Mike
and Frank went to Godey's Hardware, and they actually saw the, laid on that bed, Mike did. There's some of the pictures of Godey and Mike. And this was the bed that Devil Anse Hatfield actually slept in when he would go to the little country store there. There was 2 rooms upstairs that they rented out or leased out or let him stay in. The other beds upstairs that Cap and Johnsy and Jim Vance slept on, it was on the outer room where they could protect Devil Anse. Hopefully they didn't all sleep on it together, but they were. One of them was there at time to guard Anse.
Okay.
Guys, today's story, we've done videos throughout the day. And this one here is to any Hatfields and McCoys, that would be a well-known picture. You know, and a gentleman commented in an article earlier that he had done stories on Dan Cunningham and the McCoys and different things. And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on Dan Cunningham.
Right.
I know that he was a detective during that time, and he pursued Devil Anse Hatfield. He was a U.S. Marshal. I think when he died, or in his later years, he became a Charleston City police officer in Charleston, West Virginia, and died at an old age. But I just want to read this, and maybe somebody can help. Dan Cunningham of Eureka Detective Agency, he was actually a U.S. Marshal.
Cool.
Was also reportedly cleared of charges that he burned down a barn belonging to Anderson. Let's talk about private deserter Anderson Devil Anse Hatfield. And you know, a person told me a while ago, come on over here, Sheila, and you can take a picture of this, and from now on, when I call him that, we'll show you proof. Here's the only proof of Devil Anse Hatfield's rank. Now, throughout the years, they just keep throwing that captain rank out there. There's no proof whatsoever that he was ever a captain. He deserted. And there's his official rank, was that of a private. And here is his desertion papers. Deserted since February of 1863. So, from now on, we made a video earlier today, and I said from now on, I was going to start calling him by his rank.
Okay.
I'm going to be respectful of Devil Anse, and I'm going to call him of his respective rank while he was in the Civil War, and that was a private and / deserter.
Okay.
And this story here goes, and it says that Anderson Devil Anse Hatfield was reported in the Logan Banner April the 4th of 1889. Now this story was supposedly reported, but they don't post the story. Like Sheila and I, we will post newspaper articles or legal papers. And here's the reason a lot of people don't post, because a lot of people does this right here. Send them your $29 and they'll go back and they'll give you a 100-year-old paper, and they'll print the headline or print any kind of news story you want. They'll put your picture on Life magazine. They'll put your picture on Sports Illustrated. There's all kinds of things now with computers that can be done. Where's the story at? Historian Kenneth R. Bailey once wrote, over the years, Dan Cunningham of Eureka Detective Agency was involved in several altercations attempting to seize Hatfields and McCoys on both sides, Kentucky and West Virginia. Cunningham was once captured by the hostile McCoys. Why would the McCoys want to capture Cunningham? Why? What did he ever do to the McCoys? Was he at the cabin massacre? Was he at the Pawpaw Tree assassination? Why would the McCoys, the hostile McCoys, want to capture Detective Dan Cunningham? And it goes on to say that they captured him, and though he soon overpowered the McCoys, the McCoy clan and their supporters, and escaped from his own lynching party in Pike County. They were going to lynch Dan Cunningham. Wow. When was Dan Cunningham ever an enemy of the McCoys or anybody on the Kentucky side? Dan Cunningham pursued Devil Anse Hatfield and the $500 reward of the 20 people for the assassination at the Pawpaw Trees. So that statement there, guys, is what you call written into history. Unless we see, and we say this on almost every video, and I'd like to say it on every one, I hope, but we could be wrong about a lot of things. We don't think we are, but if we're wrong, please prove us wrong. The first thing that would have been nice is to have seen, instead of just a written statement on a Facebook page. You can put the written statement if the newspaper's hard to read, but at least show the newspaper article in the background or on another side or something. Tell them where to go to look at it. How easy? How many people's going to go to Logan, West Virginia and try to find a newspaper? They're not. That's an extra trip. Wouldn't it be easier? Sheila and I make it easy for you. We've had people comment and say, "Oh, that place is full of pictures. That place is full of documents. That place is like it's a curse." No, this is our haven. This is our evidence bank. This is our evidence locker.
It's our documentation.
This is how we document what we say. And if we say that something's in a newspaper article, we'll walk around until we find it in one building or the other to show you. But these Facebook pages, they write this stuff down. You can show Cotton Top there. I'll see him.
Hey, buddy, what you doing? Hi, sweet boy. Hi, sweet boy.
Let get over here where they can see.
There he is. There's Cotton Top.
We think Cotton Top's losing his sight. We think he's going blind on us. He runs into stuff.
Keeps running into stuff.
So anyway, back to the story. It'd be nice if these people, and we've said this before, we don't expect for none of that to change. We just comment on it, I do, because we've mentioned it many times. Why don't you post the newspaper article? Why don't you post the court document? Why don't you post? You'll never see it. You'll never see it. Or if you do, it'll be far and few in between. But this would have been a great newspaper article to have posted, because being from Kentucky, we would have liked to see why the Kentucky McCoys was wanting to lynch Dan Cunningham. They couldn't get enough help. Randall McCoy couldn't get enough people involved to arrest the West Virginia Hatfields on the Kentucky indictment once. He gets somebody involved and he wants to lynch them? We find that hard to believe, guys. And you should too. Where's the evidence? Where's the beef? On the other side of the Tug River, of the Big Sandy in southern West Virginia, Detective Cunningham was never able to successfully capture old Anderson, private deserter Anderson Devil Anse Hatfield, on outstanding feud warrants. Yet, he came awfully close a time or two. Guys, we've heard that through the years. Why was Devil Anse never held accountable? Well, he hid like a chicken. He hid. I seen one story, and we'll post that later on, where it's in Jim McCoy's book, where Jim Vance made fun of Devil Anse after he put them all up to going to the McCoys to kill everybody at the cabin massacre. Jim Vance said, "Walk, bark, 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 bark like a chicken," teasing Devil Anse for not going with him, called him a coward. That's in Sam McCoy's book. That's his uncle that's doing that. But the reason he was never captured by Dan Cunningham or nobody else is because he hid. That man had a lot of lonely nights out in caves, out in the woods, out in the barn, anywhere except with his wife. He didn't want to be taken to Kentucky. He didn't want to be confronted with justice because there was too much evidence against him. He was there. He was involved in the murder of those 3 McCoy boys at the pawpaw trees. Anyway, let's finish this story. One particular time, several Hatfields caught the private detective around their cabin and premises. In response to the act of trespassing, the Hatfields, Devil Anse, and several others of his older sons seized and disarmed Cunningham. They further humiliated him by gagging him and tying him crossways on their most cantankerous mules. Guys, isn't it funny that in some of these stories that you read by other people, it's always Devil Anse humiliates people. He humiliated the McCoys that arrested Johnson, made them get down on their knees, the story says, and beg. Jim McCoy says, you know, he never got down, he don't bow to nobody. But that story's been written into history. But yet they say that they make this story up. They'll never go on about Devil Anse, but they make the story up and say, Frank Phillips will shoot at their feet, make people dance. Well, but Devil Anse humiliated him by gagging him and tying him to the most cantankerous mule. You know, Cap Hatfield killed a lot of people, and he killed people like this right here. If Cap Hatfield caught anybody that he thought was a detective or there for the bounty, a bounty hunter, he killed them. He killed them, shoot them in boats and let them just float down the river. He was a bushwhacker. Him and Devil Anse, Jim Vance, they were bushwhackers. They didn't take any chances. They didn't respect the law. So when they seen somebody coming down the road and nobody else was around, they shot them if they were in doubt as to who they were. They shot them. They wasn't taking any chances. Let the chips fall where they may. That was that was during and after the Civil War. Before the Civil War and all that, before all this stuff started, it was okay until Devil Anse deserted and killed Asa Harmon. But anyway, onlookers pointed and crackled at Cunningham's predicament with his hands of Devil Anse and his boys. Now, guys, it says that the Logan County laughed and were tickled about it. Well, I'll tell you what, if they were, it's surprising to me because Good Elias doesn't say that in T.C. Crawford's book. T.C. Crawford was there. He met with them. He went to Logan County. T.C. Crawford didn't get that from the people in Logan County. And he was there in 1888. He was there in 1888. I forget when they said this story here was published. 89, April the 4th, 1889, supposed to be in the Logan Banner. And about 5 months after T.C. was there, T.C. went all over Logan County and talked to people. Remember, T.C. Crawford went to the neighbors and asked them, what do you think about Devil Anse Hatfield? What do you think about Cap Hatfield? And nobody would comment.
They wouldn't say a thing.
They didn't have nothing to say. And if you ain't got something good to say, don't say nothing at all. They were afraid to say anything bad. But they didn't say nothing good. Oh, he's the best. He's the finest man. We laughed at him. He put old Dan Cunningham on a horse backwards and tied him to it. And we laughed as he went through town gagged. See, we don't see that. T.C. Crawford never wrote it. None of the other people. Now, Logan Banner, you've got to understand, Logan Banner, that story very possibly there. I'm not going to say it's not. I haven't seen it. But I think that if it was there, these people would have posted it. And if they didn't post it, they're negligent on their Facebook page by not letting the truth and everything come out. Because I see where people alters stories. Sometimes people says, this story's there or that story's there, and they'll write some of the story. I've actually went and found the stories we have. But it won't be nothing like what they've wrote. They've wrote some of the story, but they've added their own touch to it. And people don't realize that. They're reading it, they're thinking, the whole thing is the story that was in the paper. And then down at the bottom, it'll put the initials of the person.
Yeah.
So they can always say, oh no, I added that in. That's why I put my initials. People don't know that. They think that's the news story. It's not right. You talk about yellow journalism or yellow reporting or yellow authors. But anyway, says the onlookers pointed it out and thought it was funny. I don't believe that about Logan County people. I don't think the majority of Logan County people supported Devil Anse Hatfield and what he did. I think they feared Cap. I think they feared him, especially in numbers. Like Sam McCoy says, they were brave when they had backers.
Mm-hmm. He said they had no grit. Was that him that said
no grit? But he said they were brave when they had backers, meaning numbers. When they were in big numbers, they were. Randall McCoy tells the Louisville paper that also. Public humiliation. Retained the name through the years of being a detective. And again, I don't. We're not professing to know everything there is to know about old Dan Cunningham.
Right.
But when you read stories like that, if you are Hatfield McCoy enthusiasts or historians or history buffs, that should really raise your curiosity about why Randall McCoy and the McCoys took him prisoner and was going to lynch him. Absolutely no reason. Only people they wanted was the people, those 20 men that was on that indictment for murdering the 3 boys. They wouldn't have been after Dan Cunningham for nothing.
Right.
So see that story right there that you see on that Facebook page that this gentleman, and we just done a story, it may be before this one or after it, but where a gentleman says, this page is not fair. And he says, oh yeah, we posted stories on Dan Cunningham, Rosanna, Frank Phillips. Well, that's the kind of stories you're posting. Frank Phillips belonged to Jesse James' gang, made him jump and dance. Dan Cunningham was tied to a horse. He escaped from the McCoys and all the Kentucky people. Boy, he was a regular ninja. But more importantly, it would have been nice to see the Logan Banner article in the newspaper form. You know, I was talking earlier about at the main beginning, where the article was talking about Dan Cunningham had been charged with burning Devil Anse's barn down, but he was found innocent. He was let go. Guys, do you think if something like that happened that there wouldn't be court documents? Logan County is not that big even today, and especially back then. Why has nobody ever found those court documents? Where's those court documents at? Where Dan Cunningham, a U.S. Marshal, a detective, had been charged with burning Devil Anse's barn. They killed everybody in the country, but they didn't kill Dan Cunningham. They paraded him around on a horse, sideways and all this and that to humiliate him, but he burnt their barn and they didn't kill him. They sure killed people for less. Do you see where I'm going with this? This is spoken or written into history. This is garbage. The things that's been written, and even in today's, it's 2024. Even in today's time, it's I guess there's a market for it. I guess I know the market's bigger for telling lies than it is for telling the truth, because Sheila's channel gets very few views, and and we've got the truth on there. Again, don't look at the messenger. Don't look at the presenter. Look at the evidence we bring. And it didn't happen. Dan Cunningham didn't burn the barn down. He wasn't in court. He didn't stand trial. Or if it is, once again, prove us wrong. Sheila's shaking her head. She agrees. Sheila knows we don't care to be proven wrong on something.
No.
At least if we're proven wrong, we know not to say it no more. We know the truth.
Exactly.
And we'll move on to something else.
Exactly. I agree.
Thanks. Sheila, well, let me let you. Here you go.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
He's thinking,
Bye,
Cotton Top, what's going on?
He's such
What's
a
going
good
on?
boy.
Are you Cotton Top? Huh? Are you Cotton Top?
Bless it.
There you
He's a
go.
good boy. He's my baby.
That's
Yes.
Sheila's baby there. That's
Oh
the,
goodness. Oh goodness. He's a sweetheart. Bye guys.
he's like Devil Anse. He's got little dog syndrome. We've got a Doberman, big Doberman, about 5 times bigger than him, and he controls her. He herds
He
her
don't
like
like her in front of him when we let him back in. Man, he's got to be boss hog. He's got to be in the front.
yeah.
He is hilarious
Watch
to
him.
be so.
All right, that's it, guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
y'all.